me tell you about a friend. It's Craig LeBlanc where the good times never end. Talking Parks and Rec, it's a show you gotta know. Welcome one and all to the Daily Parks and Rec Show. It's the Daily Parks and Rec Show.
You know, getting them while they're young and making sure they understand that this is something you could do for your entire life, contribute back to your community. There's so many different things you can do in parks. You don't have to be a lifeguard, you know, or just work with kids. You could work with seniors. You could work in administration. There's marketing, social media. There's so many different things we do in parks, our events. I think that like getting to the kids young, and even we bring in people that are coming from other careers that are a little burnt out maybe from other things they're doing, and then kind of focus back on something where they really feel like they're contributing to their community.
Welcome back to the Daily Parks and Rec Show, live from the 2025 NRPA Conference. In today's episode, our host Dave Ramirez from OutdoorLink sits down with Cathie Schanz, Director of Parks, Recreation, and Open Spaces for the city of Hallandale Beach, Florida, a small but mighty coastal community making a big impact. With over 30 years in parks and recreation, Cathie shares her journey from Milwaukee to Florida, where she's helped transform Hallandale Beach into a model of urban recreation, building 16 new parks in just 10 years. In this episode, they talk about what it takes to provide green spaces in densely populated areas, how parks serve as vital gathering places for residents and tourists alike, and why Parks and Rec professionals are truly essential, from hurricane response to shaping the future of community wellness. Whether you're a director, young professional, or simply passionate about the power of public spaces, this episode will leave you inspired to see parks and recreation in a whole new light. Let's dive in.
Hello, and welcome to the Daily Parks and Rec Show. I'm Dave Ramirez with OutdoorLink, a proud partner with the Daily Parks and Rec Show. Joining me this morning is Cathie Schanz with Hallandale Beach, Florida Parks, Recreation, and Open Spaces.
Perfect.
All right. Cathie, share a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Like you said, my name's Cathie Schanz. I'm the director of the Parks, Recreation, Open Spaces in Hallandale Beach. It's in the southeast. We're a beachfront community, so it's a great place to live, work, and play. I've been in Parks and Rec for over 30 years now, starting in Milwaukee, where I grew up, and then coming down to Florida one year in December, and I was like, okay, time to go. And I've been here ever since.
Yep. And if I'm not mistaken, you were over in my neck of the woods for a part of your career.
I was. I started in Florida in Ocala, and then I moved to Brevard County, so Cocoa Beach area, which was great. I was on the beach. And then took a position with the city of Tampa, so we were in the same county there, different agencies, and then took a director role with the city of Hallandale Beach.
That's great. That's great. Well, It's amazing because, the folks that I've been talking to today, we talk about the steps to get to where you were to that director spot, and going and learning different Parks and Rec schemes and visions from different areas is huge. Once you find that last landing space that you're at, and then you could go ahead and flourish. And I know I did that. I did not go around too much. I spent all 32 years in Hillsborough County, but
it's a big county. There was lots to do there.
Oh yeah, and I grew up as a participant. I was a kid there and a teen youth worker, and did a lot to get to where I was before I had retired. So, tell me a little bit about what you're thinking, and you've been around, like I said, for 30 years or so. About Parks and Recreation, the direction, the field itself.
I'm a huge advocate for parks. Where I'm at now is a very urban environment. We're only 3.5 square miles, but there is mostly multifamily housing, which is very typical in South Florida. So a lot of people don't have a big green backyard or somewhere where they can gather, bring all their friends over. So the parks are really the social and gathering places. The kids learn their sports in the parks, of course. That's how I got started in Parks and Recreation. My kids played soccer, and it evolved into me operating a soccer facility for the county and the state association back in Milwaukee, and then just kind of parks took over our life, right? So everybody brings something different to the table, but everybody has an experience. You grew up in the same parks you worked in. Everybody has an experience. I grew up in the parks. With that and having those places to build memories and to develop skills. So parks are important to everybody.
They are. In Hallandale Beach, tell me a little bit, you guys, smaller department, but have a lot going on, a lot of different programs. Share a little bit about what you got going on.
Yeah, we're only 4 square miles, but we have 18 parks and 16 of them have been built while I've been there in my 10 years. So the city really focused on developing a master plan and then implementing it for the communities. So we have a lot of people in Hallandale Beach in our little 4 square miles. I think we're at close to 50 during snowbird season. So that's a lot of people to pack into that little area. And it's also very touristy. We have a couple of casinos, a horse track. So we have a lot of people coming in to visit. So our parks department is, we provide that green space for people, but we also have limited green space. So it's a very programmed park, or park system, I should say. We have a big gymnasium. We have athletic fields. We have a YMCA in one of our parks. So we try to make sure that we have programming for all ages, that we have, self-guided areas that people can just go and do their thing. We have dog parks. We have tennis. There's really something for everybody in our park system.
Well, when you said 18 parks in a 4-mile radius of the city, that is remarkable. That shows that the city is really all in.
Yes,
for
100%.
Parks and Rec,
100%.
Which is amazing because and I remember these days too, that park is there's gonna be a cut.
Yes.
It's going to come out of parks, but it looks like Hallandale Beach is doing the right thing over there and support you. And again, I could only imagine that's a lot of parks.
It's a lot.
I knew we had a lot of parks in Hillsborough County, but Hillsborough County is huge.
Yes.
So that is amazing. Tell me a little bit about what your thoughts are when it comes to the young people getting involved in parks and recreation. We know there's a challenge right now. It's really not, you go to the universities, it's not being offered. You know what I'm saying? Like it was back in the day.
Yeah.
And, I know in my time, I've done a lot of mentoring and just speaking up about the field, saying how rewarding it is, and I always said, it may not be the best paying job, but in the long run, you're going to enjoy yourself and it's going to be worthwhile. What's your thoughts about young people coming into the field?
I really think that's the key is, getting them while they're young and making sure they understand that this is something you could do for your entire life, contribute back to your community. And also that there's so many different things you can do in parks. You don't have to be a lifeguard, or just work with kids. You could work with seniors. You could work in administration. There's marketing, social media. There's so many different things we do in parks, our events. I think that like getting to the kids young, and even we bring in people that are coming from other careers that are a little burnt out maybe from other things they're doing, and then kind of focus back on something where they really feel like they're contributing to their community. In some communities, the pay isn't that great. Some communities, the pay is much better. The benefits are always great compared to private sector. And of course, the job, what's the word? Not longevity, but your city's not going to close down. So where private companies might close down, you have that longevity and that definite job the next week or the next month or the next year.
Like I said, I did 32 years, stayed with one and was able to retire. And it's, Florida retirement system was nice.
Right. FRS is great. Yep.
Yeah. And that's something to look forward to as you get older. So, but young people nowadays, it's like, we're trying to get them hooked. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And here at the Daily Parks and Rec Show, there's a young professional series. There's a lot of leadership series, lots of different shows under the platform here. And we're getting a lot of people involved. People are interested, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because you got to keep it, coming to conferences like this, we're at the national show.
100%.
I guess before we shoot a quick video here at NRPA, you are networking, and my advice to many is go talk to people.
Yeah.
And, if it's in a class or at lunch as everybody's gathering around us or at a social,
yes,
I think it's huge because and I don't think you'll disagree with me, but we like to tell our stories about what we've
Well,
done.
and you learn so much from other people's stories, right? You learn what you can bring back to your community, how different communities do it, but also, again, from a career standpoint, how many just different roles there are out there in this one field.
You got it. You got it. Well, what we're going to do is I'm going to play a quick video. We'd love you to check it out, and we'll follow up afterwards.
When we talk about essential services, what comes to mind? Police, firefighters, healthcare. But there's another essential service, often overlooked, yet always present. Parks and recreation. Parks and Rec is health. It's the walking trail that lowers blood pressure, the recreation center where seniors fight isolation, the swim lessons that prevent tragedy before it happens. This isn't a luxury, it's a lifeline. Parks and Rec is safety. A playground instead of a street corner, a basketball court instead of trouble, a summer camp where every child belongs. It's not just about activity, it's about protection, prevention, and possibility. Parks and Rec is community, the festival that brings neighbors together, the cultural event that teaches respect and diversity, the open space where a city breathes. It builds bridges where division once stood. It gives people a reason to gather, to connect, to care. And Parks and Rec is economics. It strengthens property values. It drives tourism through events and trails. It saves on healthcare costs. Every dollar invested multiplies, feeding back into schools, into safety, into growth. Essential service is not just about survival, it's about thriving. And Parks and Recreation is where thriving begins. In wellness, in equity, in culture, and in joy. Parks and Rec isn't extra, it's essential. For our health, for our safety, for our communities, for our future. A message from the Parks and Recreation community.
All right, Cathie,
What
what
a
do you
great
think?
message. What a great message. It really is. It really is about safety and community, right? Bringing everybody together in a safe, healthy, and satisfying environment. I love that message.
Yeah, when they talk essential, I know, in my career, we did everything in that video. Man, we were pushing it. We have to tell our elected leaders that we are essential, and not when the time comes when things get tough.
Exactly.
Don't look at us for cuts. There's got to be other ways, because we need to be out there. We need to offer these facilities and services to our residents. But essential come in Florida here. A storm rolls through. Who's getting called out to
We're right
remove trees and do site surveys for damage? It's Parks and Recreation.
Absolutely.
Sandbagging and all that good stuff. That I lived it, and I'm sure you
we're
have
still
as
living
well.
it. Yep.
It's just one of those things. So a lot of folks sometimes think Parks and Recreation is, well, you throw some balls out, let some kids play, and you're having fun. And we are doing that, but there's so much more.
There is, in for instance, in my community, the beach rescue is under Parks and Rec, not under fire services. Other communities, it's under fire services. So those are first responders, life affirming every single day. I could tell you stories for days. We do all the landscaping in the entire city. So medians and quality of life for people who might not even be in the park, but they're seeing our work. And of course, like you said, in Florida, it's hurricanes. Other states, they have their other emergencies, but for us, it's hurricanes, and we're in the EOC. We're right there as first responders, and we're the first ones out in this community after a storm, getting the roads cleared, getting the streets ready, and then of course getting our parks ready to welcome people back.
And you had mentioned, okay, you guys are maintaining the right of ways and medians.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's park space.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And you guys are stepping up to take care of that. And someone may not go to a park, but there's an impact.
They see our work. Yes.
They see the work of Parks and Recreation every day.
Absolutely.
So it's awesome. It's awesome. So as we are seeing a little bit of crowd behind us, it's about that lunchtime hour, but thoughts about today or this week's conference? Really?
Oh, the conference has been great. I love coming to NRPA. I meet people from really all over the world, but definitely around the country, and just the networking and idea sharing that we're able to bring back. It's well worth the trip for Parks and Rec professionals. I encourage agencies to send people, maybe not always at the top, but send some of your core people that are out in the field as well to learn. And the exhibit hall is second to none. We always find something that we have to bring back to our community.
Oh yeah, Hallandale Beach is a client of OutdoorLink, and we appreciate that. And one thing about conference for myself, even on the vendor side now, is it's that I used to I get fired up about the field. I go back home and I sort of evaluate what I took in,
all those ideas,
all the ideas and the program stuff, and just try to put it to work.
Absolutely.
And that's one really fantastic about a conference. So, well, Cathie, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thanks for inviting me. It's been great.
Thanks for coming on, and enjoy the rest of the conference. And we'll talk soon.
We'll see you soon. Thanks, Dave.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
At DPR's Media Co., we believe Parks and Recreation isn't just a service, it's the heartbeat of our communities. We exist to honor the people, the vendors, and the leaders shaping the future of Parks and Rec. Our mission is simple: to tell their stories, highlight their careers, and celebrate their essential work. Our vision is bold: to be the trusted hub where leaders, vendors, and communities unite, inspiring innovation, sharing wisdom, and building a stronger, healthier nation. Through over 220 live shows and 6 weekly series, the Leadership Series, Facility Maintenance, Young Professionals Network, Youth Sports Mastery, The Rec Room, and Growing Leaders, plus our industry-leading newsletter, the weekly Parks and Rec Post, we're building a media platform made for the Parks and Rec community. And now, we're inviting strategic partners to co-create this story with us. As a partner, you'll gain 12 hours of annual live exposure with custom shows highlighting your expertise, polished 60-second promos refined for maximum impact, year-round visibility with dozens of replays across our media network, premium features in our newsletter, and amplified social media reach across LinkedIn, X, and Facebook. This is your chance to educate, inspire, and lead while connecting directly with the professionals who build, budget, and buy for their communities. This is DPRS Media Co. Let's build the future of Parks and Rec together.